Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Devika Rianta Lestiana and I'm from Iwan Kelas English Education of Unisula. Okay, in this video, I'm going to talk about teaching by principle. Without any further ado, let's get started. In teaching by principle, there are three principles. The first set of principles is called cognitive because they relate mainly to mental and intellectual function. Principle 1 is automaticity. Through an inductive process of exposure to language input and opportunity to experiment without output, children appear to learn language without thinking about them. So, in the automaticity, the learner moves gradually away from focusing on form in order to speed the processing of the language. Then, principle 2. Principle 2 is meaningful learning. Meaningful learning subsumes new information into exciting structure and memory system, and the resulting associative links create stronger retention. Rote learning isolated pieces of information that are not connected to the exciting cognitive structure has little chance of creating long-term retention. So, in this principle, is unlike rote learning or isolated pieces of information. Meaningful learning built on previous structure provide a better long-term memory. Principle 3 is the anticipation of reward or Skinner. The anticipation of reward, the most powerful factor in directing one's behavior. The reward principle is that human beings are universally driven to act or behave by the anticipation of some sort of reward, tangible or intangible, short-term or long-term, that will ensure as a result of the behavior. So, in this principle, students expect to get some kind of reward in the out of learning. Principle 4 is intrinsic motivation. The intrinsic motivation principle is the most powerful. Reward are those that are intrinsically motivated within the learner, because the behavior stems from need, want, or desire within oneself. The behavior itself is self-rewarding, therefore no externally administered reward is necessary. So, the learner feels the behavior itself is the reward, since they enjoy and desire it. Next, principle 5, strategic investment. The principle of strategic investment is that the successful mastery of the second language will be due a large extent to a learner's own personal investment of time, effort, and attention to the second language, in the form of an individualist battery of strategies for comprehending and producing the language. So here, students invest time, effort, and attention in developing strategies to learn the language. Okay, we move to the second principle, is affective principle. Principle 6 is language ego. The language ego principle can be summarized as human beings learn to use a second language, they also develop a new mode of thinking, feeling, and acting, a second identity. The new language ego, intertwined with the second language, can easily create within the learner a sense of fragility, a defensiveness, and a raising of inhibition. Language ego developed by the second language learner can make them feel fragile, and it can cause a raising of inhibition. Principle 7, self-confidence. This principle emphasizes the importance of learners' self-assessment regardless of the degree of language ego involvement. Instead, the learner believes that they indeed are fully capable of accomplishing a task is at least partially factor in their eventual success in attaining the task. So, learner self-esteem is an essential factor when successfully accomplishing tasks. Principle 8 is risk-taking. The previous two principles, if satisfied by the groundwork for risk-taking, learners are ready to try out their newly acquired language, to use it for meaningful purpose, to ask questions, and to assert themselves. So here, it is very important for learners to take calculated risks in attempting to use of the language. Next, principle 9, the language-culture connection. This principle focuses on the complex interconnection of language and culture. Whenever you teach a language, you also teach a complex system of cultural customs, values, and ways of thinking, feeling, and acting. So when we teach a language, we also teach its inherent complex system characteristic. Then, this is the third principle, namely linguistic principle. Principle 10, the native language. The native language can either interfere or facilitate second language production and comprehension. Then, principle 11, interlanguage, is that the second language learners tend to go to a systematic or quasi-systematic developmental process as they progress to full competence in the target language. Successful interlanguage development is partially a result of utilizing feedback from others. There is a distinction between affective and cognitive feedback. The former is the extent to which we value or encourage a student's attempt to communicate. The latter is the extent to which we indicate an understanding of the message itself. And the last, principle 12, is communicative competence. To develop communicative competence, instruction needs to point toward organizational, pragmatic, systemic, and psychomotor competence. Well, that is the principle in teaching. That's the explanation for me. Thank you for watching. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.